Hey everyone, how we doing today? This is James Sweeney, aka SplitSuit. Welcome back to another video. And as part of the Ask SplitSuit a Question series, a bunch of people asked hand history questions, and today's comes from Daniel. And Daniel just wants me to review this hand played at 1-2. So let's check it out. Okay, so in this hand there is a limp from villain, there are a couple more limps, and it folds to us, and here it decides to go for an aggressive raise. And the big thing you have to remember is this is a live game, and live tables massively vary from one to another. So if 17 will get the job done and pick up a bunch of folds, awesome. But I don't love the stack sizes here. I don't love the fact that there's a guy under the gun that limped, because that does not imply a good player, which means I think I'm getting action a decent chunk, and once they call, then I think the players behind them are going to call a lot as well, and it creates that cascade of callers in a super multi-way pot, and then we're in it with ace-8 offsuit, and that sucks. So if you think this can really get through, cool. Also ask yourself, could a slightly larger size get the job done more often? Blah, blah, blah. So in this exact spot, end up facing a 3-bet from villain, and here we go. So in his write-up, Daniel said that the 3-bet preflop looked weak. Yep, I'm on board with that. So he decided to float. Okay, totally on board with that. And villain is a loose player, so he doesn't assume that he always has like a top 10% hand here. And yeah, I'm totally cool with that as well. But the big reason why you're calling here is because you're getting 3.5 to 1 plus position, and there's some flexibility going post-flop. Not a ton, it's not going to be a super deep SPR by any stretch, but I'm definitely going to be calling here as well and going forward. Here we end up facing a $45 C-bet, and Daniel said that his read on villain is that his body language says that he didn't smash the board based upon some eye movements and stuff that he saw earlier in the session, and thus Hero decided to call and represent a stronger hand by flouting than by raising himself right here. So a couple different things. One, you defined villain earlier as a loose player and probably not great. So with that in mind, I'm not worried so much about what I represent, whether or not I'm balanced. I'm just worried about what does this dude have, what's he logically going to do, can I create profit somewhere in between those things. And in this situation, I think that if villain has something like a pocket pair, which is a pretty reasonable thing for him to limp re-raise preflop, and not necessarily reasonable in the sense that it's good, just reasonable in the sense that they do it. So if that's the case, I don't think he's going anywhere at any point with that kind of hand. And with that in mind, then you have to ask yourself, okay, like, does he limp re-raise preflop with suited connectors, or king-queen, or ace-queen, or those kind of things? Or is it really just like a pocket pair-centric range, in which case you're probably going to have a really tough time getting away from this, or getting him to get away from it, I should say. And yeah, his body language may say that he's weak and he didn't smash the board, like most pocket pairs will do here, but in no way, shape, or form does that mean he's actually going to go away. So the issue here is that by flatting, yeah, okay, you're trying to get a little creative, I like it, but you don't have too much of a clear plan on what he's going to do post, as far as turns and rivers are concerned. And if he bets anything on a turn, you're kind of in a situation where, like, is there any wiggle room to get him to fold at that point? And I don't think so. So if you have really clear information that he's just going to play turns super straightforward and check fold a lot, okay, I can totally be on board with this float. But chances are you don't have that info, and chances are this is getting a little too creative against someone who does not deserve it. So as played, king on the turn, facing another $45 bet, and Hero decides to drill. So Daniel follows this up with another read-based decision, and he said that he didn't feel the villain liked the king of diamonds. On that card, he seemed uncomfortable. Obviously, the bet size looked uncomfortable. So he shoved to induce a fold with marginal holdings, and in the exact situation, the clock got called, and villain ended up calling at the absolute last moment. So in this situation, let's just talk about the drill for a moment. So the drill itself, if we pull out a fold equity calculator, and this is the one from redchippoker.com, notice just fill in a couple different numbers, and we need villain to fold at least 27% of the time, which means that we really want more folds than that because we want some buffer built in. So can we really get folds here 40, 50% of the time? I think that's really, really questionable. And the big thing is, obviously this villain is not great based upon the way you described him earlier. And yes, he may be uncomfortable, but he could still end up finding a call, right? He could find a call with 5s with a diamond, 6s with a diamond, anything like that. Like, those are not shocking things for him to look us up with. And then we're just in a situation where we're like hoping he has like naked ace queen or naked fours that he finds a fold with. And I just don't think it's happening all that often. Yes, he may look uncomfortable. Yes, his bet size looks uncomfortable, but I don't think that hints that this kind of player exactly is going to find that fold. So like I showed a moment ago, Villain did end up making a last second call and ends up shipping the pot with eights with a diamond. And Daniel was nice enough to post a follow-up conversation. He asked him how the heck did he manage that call, and Villain responded with, well, it's hard to make a pair, and I had two. So again, kind of confirming that this is not the kind of player we want to run this kind of line against. It's a little too FPS. I'm totally okay giving the min 3-bet preflop action given the price and position, but postflop I think we want to play a little more straightforward. I don't think there's as much fold equity here as we were hoping. So Daniel, thank you very much for the hand, and if you or anyone else has a poker-related hand or question, feel free to send it to me directly at splitsuit.com/send, and if you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to let me know. Otherwise, good luck out there, and happy grinding!